The production possibility curve, or the PPC, is the topic of this lecture. So the production possibility curve is the first economic model that we're going to cover. So we use these models to explain concepts. We use numbers as examples. We generate graphs from numbers, and then we make generalizations using the graph. So what is the production possibility curve? It's a model that shows alternative ways that an economy can use its scarce resources. This model graphically demonstrates scarcity, trade-offs, opportunity costs, and efficiency. There are four key assumptions. Only two goods can be produced, full employment of resources, fixed resources, referred to as ceteris paribus, fixed technology. Here's a production possibilities table for bikes and computers. Each different point on the graph, or each point that we're going to graph rather, represents a specific combination of goods that can be produced given full employment of resources. So there's nothing sitting idle. Now we're going to graph it. Put bikes on the y-axis and computers on the x-axis. So you can do this yourself. So if we make a graph, we've got bikes and computers, and then graphing each of the points, we've created the production possibility curve. So how does this curve, or this graph rather, demonstrate scarcity, trade-offs, opportunity costs, and also efficiency? Anything inside the PPC represents inefficient or unemployment. Anything along the line or along the curve here is an efficient use of resources. Anything outside the PPC is impossible or unattainable given the resources that are available at the moment. So here's an example. What's the opportunity cost of moving from A to B? The opportunity cost of moving from B to D, the opportunity cost of going from D to B, the opportunity cost of going from F to C, and what can you say about point G? So number 1 would be 2 bikes, number 2, 7, 3, you're giving up 4 computers, 4, you're giving up 0 computers, and 5, point G is unattainable given the resources that are available. Okay, here's another production possibility for calzones and pizza. List the opportunity costs of moving from A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to E. A constant opportunity cost means the resources are easily adaptable for producing either good. The result would be a straight line PPC, and that would not be very common. Here's a production possibility numbers for pizza and robots. List the opportunity costs of moving from A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to E. The law of increasing opportunity costs means that as you produce more of one good, the opportunity cost, or the foregone production of another good, is going to increase. Why? Because the resources are not easily adaptable to producing both goods. So the result would be a bowed out or convex PPC. So which product would have a straight line PPC and which would be bowed out? In this case, corn as the straight line, so that means it's a constant opportunity cost. And the other graph between cactus and pineapples refers to an increasing opportunity cost. Here's a question from an old exam. So if you would like to pause the video and read it, the answer would be E. Here's another question. Again, pause the video if you'd like. And the answer to this question would be B. And another one, the answer is A. So, is it possible for the production possibility curve to shift? And the answer to that is yes. There's 4 key assumptions that we're going to revisit. Only 2 goods can be produced. Full employment of resources, fixed resources, fixed technology. What if there is a change? There's 3 things that can shift the PPC. 1 is a change in a resource quantity or quality. 2 is a change in technology. And 3 is a change in trade, which would allow for more consumption. So what happens if there's an increase in population? The PPC could shift to the right. What if there is a technology improvement in pizza ovens? We're just talking about an improvement that affects only the production of pizzas, so only that part of the curve would shift outward. Capital goods and future growth. Panama favors consumer goods, things that we would buy. Mexico favors capital goods, so things like different types of equipment. So future PPC here, current PPC, and the future PPC is a lot wider here. There's much more potential for growth if a country's going to invest in capital goods, which is going to allow them to produce a lot more than a company that's producing on just consumer goods. So think about why that makes sense. Okay, here's some practice that I'd like you to do. Draw a PPC showing changes for each of the following: pizzas and computers, new computer making technology, a decrease in the demand for pizza, mad cow disease kills 85% of the cows, and consumer goods and capital goods, there's a destruction of power plants that leads to a severe electricity shortage, faster computer hardware, many workers that are unemployed, and a significant increases in education. So the first one, if you have new computer making technology, how is that going to affect the PPC? It's only going to affect the production of computers. So only the curve is going to shift outwards on this part of the graph, showing that there are more resources available now to produce computers. If there's a decrease in the demand, so you and I don't want pizzas anymore, that has nothing to do with the resources that are available to make pizzas. So a change in demand is not going to shift the curve. The resources are still there. Mad cow disease kills 85% of cows. Well, that would be a shift inward only for pizza. We're going to need cheese for that pizza. So if there is producers are unable to get that product, that's going to result in an inward shift of the PPC. Now we're looking at capital goods. So sometimes we refer to capital goods as guns and consumer goods as butter. Common assumptions made in economics. If we have a decrease of power plants because of a destruction, resources are gone. So that would equal a decreased production possibilities for both. So the entire curve would shift inward because those resources are gone. Faster computer hardware, the quality of a resource improves, so the curve is going, the entire curve is going to shift outward. Many workers are unemployed. The curve is not going to shift if that happens. Unemployment is represented as a point inside the curve. So we still have those resources, but they're just not being utilized right now because people had to be laid off. Significant increases in education. So the quality of labor would be improved. Your workers would be able to do things better, faster, quicker, more productive. So the curve would shift outward.